Hey everybody, it's Stacie Duffy here, your Denver Metro real estate resource on another episode of title issues that I see. This seems to be like an ongoing thing coming up recently. So, and it's sometimes they're big deals, sometimes they're not. But the big thing is as I always talk about in all my videos, informing and educating my clients enough for them to make an educated decision. It is not my house, it is not my money, it is not my decision. If something doesn't line up right, or there's questions or whatever, if they do buy the place, don't buy the place, object, don't object, all that stuff. So today's, I think another one that I shot a video on, I don't know if I posted it yet or not, is easements in the back and checking, seeing those on the plat map, checking the title exceptions to see what those easements are for, what's the likelihood of them being billed, will they impact how you use the property, all that type of stuff. And I'm waiting on some clients to show up for a showing, so I'll probably have to make this pretty quick video, so when I see them pull up, if I bow out, that's why. So the one I ran into most recently over the last few days was a client buying a townhome that has an assigned garage space within that building. So in this case, there's 4 units in the building. The buildings it's a really common layout of building, but regardless, all the garages are in the back. There's 2 on this side, 2 on this side. It's just one big shared garage in the back. And then there's 3 storage units in front of it, 4 parking spaces, and then 4 units in the building. So understanding that, okay, which storage unit, the doors aren't lining up for the storage units. They're called cowboy storage sometimes, or it's like storage that's built up above the parking spot. Pretty common here in Denver for some detached garage areas. But when those storage spaces, those didn't line up with the parking spaces. Not like there's a door per parking space for the storage. Some of them have one of them had 2 doors, one of them had 1 door off to the side. So the question is okay, who gets the storage? What storage do you get? Which parking space is it? Because 2 of these are empty, one of them has a dead car, and one of them has a whole bunch of boxes, right? So it's okay, we're assuming the one with the boxes is probably the people moving. Let's talk to the seller, see what the question, which parking space they use. But then on title, the legal description has an easement for the parking space, but that is not called out. And there was no parking map in the title exceptions. And that easement that it refers to is not listed on the title exception. So I'm like, cool. So your easement is going to be your parking space and your storage, but I don't know which one it is. The HOAs sometimes will have a parking map recorded. I've run into many issues where that isn't recorded or isn't updated. So there's the practical answer of, okay, there's 4 units, there's 4 garage spaces, each person gets 1. We all know that. When everybody bought their place, that's what they know. And here's what everybody's using. Okay, here's what the documents say. So in this case, the document says, oh, you should have parking space number 2 in the garage. But the sellers are using parking space number 4. But then we call the HOA, and over the phone, they're like, oh, well, according to our parking map that we have, it should be parking space number 3. And we're like, okay, as long as, so it's weird stuff like that. And when I work with very type A, detail-oriented, analytical people, they want all the dots to line up. And that's not always the case. Things don't always line up. Do I want them to? Yes. Do I want to make sure that you are getting what you're paying for, or understand the risks if the documents don't match that? Yes. Your choice on whether or not you want to continue that risk and purchase the property, or whether you want to say, nope, I don't want to do it. This feels shady to me. I don't like it. And I want to bow out, right? Or, hey, I want to work with the seller and let's figure it out, or get things updated or whatever. So in this case, my buyer's like, I don't feel good about this. So I'm like, okay, cool. I get that. Here's your situation of, we've got to close. You don't have a place to live. If this is something, you have a parking space that the seller is currently using that they will convey to you, and that is what everybody is currently doing. There isn't any disclosed parking discrepancies. The seller said, no, this is what the one we used when we bought it, and never had a problem. No one ever asked a question. Okay, so practically, I think the risk of you not having this garage space is pretty low. So, according to the recorded easements, you would actually get this middle parking space, not this end parking space, but you still get a storage unit, and according to easements, and that is what the title company is insuring. So if there are issues, that is why the title company is the seller is buying you a title insurance policy. They are insuring your right to ownership of what you are purchasing. So, or right to use, which in this case is an easement, right to use. So I said, if you want the middle space, the one that's actually documented that you should have instead of this one, then that's where we need to talk to the HOA and object to title and say, hey, we need to get this cleared up before you buy the place. The title map that they ended up sending said, okay, the third parking space, but technically that's the one on the end because they're numbered offset and the lot numbers don't match what's recorded for the original building layout. So things just didn't line up 100%, but it seems to be like, okay, this particular unit in the building, when the building's laid out this way, always gets this parking space. That's currently what's happening. So HOA and seller currently lines up. It's just the title work that doesn't match. So that's the piece of, and she's like, okay, I mean, I don't like it, but I get it. And I don't foresee it being an issue. And I'm insured an easement to a parking space. And I don't really care which one in the garage it is. If you care and you want to make sure it's this one and not this one, then yeah, that stuff matters, right? We're going to get that resolved while we're under contract. But that's just another example, and I don't have the documents for you. Otherwise, this would be like, wait, what? This is a mess. So just another example of how reading your title commitment, understanding what you're purchasing, understanding, is that parking space deeded? Is it exclusive right to use? Is it an easement? All of these types of things, because those things can change depending on how they are legally structured. Deeded parking spaces usually have more value because sometimes the HOA will allow you to rent them out, will allow you to have them, sorry, I just got a text for a contract I'm waiting on, so my brain just went to that track. They will allow you to sell the parking spaces. Sometimes you can separate them and sell them. Sometimes you can rent them out. Sometimes you can't. So all of that stuff matters, okay? All of that stuff may or may not affect how you plan to use the property. So please ask your agent if you're buying or selling in Denver and want somebody to stay on top of this stuff. This is what I do. I make sure, it's really, really important to me that you get what you're paying for, that you know what you're getting. And if things don't line up, then that's fine. It happens more frequently than people realize. It's just no one pays attention to it, so you don't even know it's happening. So, but I catch these things on at least a few times a year, at least. I've ran into 2 of these, just weird title kind of concerns, but they didn't kill the deal. The buyer still wanted to buy it, knowing what they knew. But I ran into 2 of these in the last month. Is that normal? No. But 2, 3, 4 a year, it happens. So if you're here in the Denver metro area, especially in the South Denver metro area, let me know. I would love to help you purchase or sell your property if you have some sale concerns. I've had seller clients that they didn't have party wall agreements on their garage and it became an issue at contract time. And there's things we can do to get ahead of these. Or I can let you know, this is going to be a problem on title. Let's pull an ownership and encumbrance report and get this nailed down and see what the current situation is on some of these title requirements. So anyway, just weird stuff. If you're looking to buy or sell here in Denver, hit me up. My number is down below. Contact information is also on my website. If you need me or someone similar to me, I can't clone myself, I've had a lot of people ask, in another area, let me know. I would love to put you in contact. I've got a link down below that you can give me some information so I can make a quicker, better match for you. So anyway, thanks so much for the time and have a great day.